Welcome to Coffee with Carrie. Today we're talking about Naked Attraction. Not yours, not mine, but the show on television. It's on HBO Max. That's where I caught it. I received a text message from my brother a few days ago, and he said, "Did you see the new dating show, Naked Attraction, on HBO Max?" And I said, "No." He said, "Well, this is not your mother's dating show." And I'm not so sure that's true because she watches all of them. And in fact, I know there's a new Bachelor season coming up with some people over 50, married at first sight. But he insisted that this is naked. I said, "Well, I've seen Naked and Afraid, and I think there was a show called Dating Naked." He said, "No blur." Got my attention. I was curious. So earlier this week at about noon, I put on Naked Attractions on HBO Max, and I was greeted by a show out of the UK that has been on for many seasons, and it features one person choosing a partner, and they figure they would start things backwards at the end of the first date, perhaps, with the contestants already being naked, and at the end they meet in person to go on a date with their clothes on, and they're often surprised when they see the person with clothes on. I barely recognized you with your clothes on. All of my friends and family members have been calling me about it since it aired, and they bumped into it, and I looked and there's quite a few articles being written, and a lot of people very anti-naked attraction. I have opinions, obviously, you know I always do. I'm sure you have some, whether you've seen it or not, whether you are interested in watching it, checking it out or not. That's what's on the agenda today. Let's talk about dating naked and the show called Naked Attraction. So quite the hubbub on the internet, I guess. There are some people who are very upset about nudity in their own homes. HBO is a paid television service, so they don't have to follow the rules of the broadcasting services, your local channels, and wait till after 10. So of course these shows are available all day. I understand that not everybody is comfortable with nudity, and I understand that some people may not want to watch it, but the good thing is they don't have to. If you don't want to watch people be naked on television, choose to date or meet people while being naked and have quite an experience doing so, it's great that we don't have to turn on that channel, that show. We all have options, but I enjoyed the show and I wanted to share with you why. My takeaway is that there was something to be learned from this experience of seeing people putting themselves out there. I think there was something to embrace about a show that was about bearing it all, and that was understanding how unique we all are and how normal we all are. I love the show because there was no body shaming. It was very body positivity from my perspective, and people of all ages, genders, shapes, and sizes showed up, and it's been on for seasons in the UK. It just now, this week, came to the US, but they were doing something right for the folks there in Great Britain. Let's talk about what the show gets right, maybe what the show gets wrong, and some more opinions. Let's do that. So let's start with the elephant in the room, which is there is full frontal nudity, and people are comparing 6 bodies on this show and deciding which of these 6 people they would be interested in going on a date with. While they're doing comparing, there is no negativity. There's no insulting of people. There's no making people feel bad or walk away defeated on a body part that this person didn't like and they can't change. And I think it's a great reminder of what we talk about here all the time, which is not everybody's going to like you. I'm not everybody's cup of coffee. I'm not everybody's cup of coffee, and that's perfectly fine because not everybody is mine either. So this show kind of points that out. You walk away and somebody says, "Hey, because I'm 5'9", I usually date guys who are a little bit taller," or, "I love curvy women, but she might be a little bit too curvy for me to handle." They find really nice ways that are very positive to let people go when they realize this isn't going to be a match for them. And next up, everybody seems to walk away feeling really good about themselves. As they leave, the camera follows them into a type of locker room, and they show all these people saying, "I cannot believe I was on TV naked today," or that I did that, or that I was brave enough to put myself out there. And these are not people who look like they do on The Bachelor. These are real people who look like real people, like you and me. All different shapes, sizes, genders, sexualities, and I'm not just talking about their face or their body. All their parts are very different. But these people back in the dressing room will say, I really feel so good about my body now that I didn't think I would even get this far in the competition, or I can't believe he chose me over a girl who I thought is what people would want. So people seem to be walking away with a really positive feeling about their own bodies. When would you ever have an opportunity to see dozens, if not hundreds, depending on how many episodes or seasons you choose to watch, naked bodies? Close up and personal, all the different shapes and sizes and colors and arrangements. Unless that's your part of your lifestyle, the answer is probably never. So I think that once you get past the novelty of the fact that there is full frontal nudity on television, you start to realize that people come in such different packages, such different shapes, sizes, and colors. It makes you realize that any possible way people look is normal and acceptable, and that no matter what you look like, there's something similar out there, that it's not going to be shocking to somebody should you ever end up naked with them. You're definitely not alone. Everybody looks very, very different, and that is reassuring for a lot of people that there's nothing wrong with you. You're perfectly normal the way you look. And I just thought it was nice that compliments abound. There's a lot of compliments by the host and by the people who are doing the selection of a partner, saying you're really beautiful, or you're lovely, such a handsome, nice looking guy, you've got such broad shoulders, sorry it's not going to be a date this time. And there's really just nothing negative or putting somebody down, despite the fact that they are sort of rating bodies. But of course, they're rating for one person. That person certainly isn't going to be attracted to everything. Which brings me to the fact that, sure, we all have preferences. We have preferences for size and shape and vibe. A person has different levels of all the different qualities that we admire in people, qualities that might not matter to one person or intrinsic to another. So what I liked in this situation is that, yes, you realize that to each their own. Everybody likes somebody different, something different, is attracted to different things. But also it's very eye-opening in that there is something for everybody. And I think these people will surprise you when you see them. There will be people that you have not yet seen on television. There will be people who have come on and chosen to be naked. They have their own insecurities or sensitivities, and it's a very brave and bold thing that they're doing, to stand in front of TV cameras and a crew, and then ultimately the UK and America as a naked person in all their glory, just sharing with the world that this is who I am, take it or leave it. And that's exactly what this person is going to do, take it or leave it. And they walk away not necessarily even caring. We don't even find out sometimes if they were attracted to the person who's doing the choosing. They may have seen the person when the little screen on their pod comes up over their head, they see the other person, they may be thinking, oh, don't pick me. You're not my type. And that's a lot of what comes up on the show. It's just not somebody's type. And naked just plays in as another thing that sometimes people are or are not attracted to. I think that you'll also be surprised watching this show that people's preferences are not what you've been led to believe by the media, by magazines and TV shows and social media, that the perfect body is one that looks exactly like what we see in one place, which is a very limited view of what the human body can look like. Some people are like, oh, I like very curvy, very busty women. Other people are like, I like almost flat-chested is kind of my preference. I just want larger nipples. Other people are like, ooh, I really like these broad shoulders. There are women who kind of like a little paunch in the front. A dad bod is like kind of what I feel attracted to. I don't mind the fact that he's super, super skinny, but I'm not into that type of feet. When you hear people actually talking about what they do and don't find attractive and look for in a partner, it's enlightening. Not sure if this is your thing, but if you're interested in checking it out, these are people of all ages, all genders, all sexual orientations, all shapes and sizes, and very, very inclusive. This show is not aiming to hurt anybody's feelings or make anybody feel badly about themselves, which I think is what makes it such a positive experience for the people who are participating. And also, interestingly, for most people, it's not titillating. it's somehow put together where it's not trying to be lewd or in your face about it. It's just really matter of fact. It's not scientific, but it is very just practical and a common sense approach to all of this, because we know that people have preferences on lots of things and bodies. So why not just show them, talk about it, and learn from that and see that people are choosing things you would never imagine some people are looking for. And that could be literally what you have and think nobody would ever want. And you would be surprised and delighted. This may not be something you'd enjoy, but if you hadn't caught it yet, I thought I would share with you, seeing that yes, there are some guys who are a boob man or a butt man, but also that people have preferences for feet and for how much body hair a person has, whether or not you have hair under your arms or tattoos or what type of labia. There's all types of different preferences people have. Maybe this makes them think more about it, but it's interesting to be a fly on the wall and hear how people think and what they look at, and know that you're probably not being judged in the way that you think you are when you're with somebody naked for the first time. And while somebody could be judged or just not chosen based on the fact that they have underarm hair, men and women, they would still be on a date and be judged for what shoes they've chosen. If the person thinks those are appropriate for a first date, or they're not taken care of, or they're just not fashionable and this person is. So there's constantly judgments of types going on in any meeting situation. And of course, these people let people go who could have been a great match for them. And had they gone on a regular date with clothes, they never would have known that this person had knobby knees or trimmed pubic hair or men with strange looking nipples. They wouldn't have known if they'd met in clothes. Would that have been a deal breaker later on? Maybe not, once they'd gotten to know each other. Starting backwards from the naked part to the other is good in some ways and not in others. But there's always going to be things that you know at the beginning, things you find out as you continue dating somebody, that are either going to be red flags or straight up deal breakers for you. If underarm hair on a woman is a deal breaker for you, in this show you get to find that out as soon as that screen goes up to the middle of their body and you can see their armpits. On a date, you're not going to find out until you take her on a date with a tank top or you're naked with each other. So these things all come out in time anyway. They're just mixing up the order, and it makes for an interesting social experiment. And I'll just wrap this up by saying, whoever you are and whatever you look like, there are people out there who are very, very happily partnered and paired up with somebody who loves, admires, and treasures them for the way that they look. And I think this is more apparent when you see this show, and or just listen to me talk and tell you this, and trust me on that if you don't want the full frontal assault, if you consider it an assault on your television screen. But I remind you to embrace who you are and know that somebody will love you just as you are. And you don't need to settle for somebody who's not making you feel beautiful, making you feel special, and making you get that warm, fuzzy feeling of being cared for. Hold out until you do. And while you're holding out, you may want to check out this show. I don't know. Appreciate you stopping by today. I hope you found my almost like a review of a TV show, kinda. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, Mom says give it a thumbs up. That would be spectacular. The ring bell, as you probably know, lets you know every time a new episode goes live. So hit that, and I'll look forward to seeing you again soon. And until next time, have a good one.